Welcome to Horizon, our brand new video series to share Inspire Integrated's perspective on the transformation taking place within the real estate and facilities management market. In response to our clients' changing needs, we have taken the decision to focus on providing meaningful experiences to enable people and places to connect together. This is our company purpose. We see this as a key differentiator to give us the freedom to provide individual experiences to support our clients' needs and to be their trusted partner. I am Stephen Thomas, the Managing Director of Inspire Integrated. Today I'm here with Peter Fancy, Inspire Integrated's Director of Strategy and Growth, and we are discussing how Inspire Integrated is responding to the changing market. Welcome, Peter. Thanks for joining us today. In your role with Inspire Integrated, how do you see the future in real estate and facilities management evolving?
I think despite the challenges that we're all facing with COVID, there's probably 3 or 4 key areas, which is around technology and the digitalisation of the work that we're doing, the personalisation of the services that we provide and how we're delivering those to the market and to our clients, how we're managing the workspace within our clients' premises. Wellness is becoming an important factor now in terms of what end users are wanting from different wellness programs and how we support that. And then really the collaboration between our own internal teams and disciplines from a FM, HR, IT and finance perspective to make these systems work more better.
Okay, so technology.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that more, because any progressive company has to adopt technology. So what else do you want to say about technology?
I think technology is such a big word. I mean, there's so many things that can kind of come into it. A lot of use of the word IoT. The problem is that's so vast. We like to talk specifically about devices. And what we've done is we've implemented a number of devices and solutions within our head office to be able to help us to generate key data and key information about how we manage that workspace, both from an environmental perspective and also from a user perspective as well.
The other key point you mentioned was personalisation.
Yeah.
You know, this is obviously something that's become very important to us all the last 6 months, working from home and other things like that. What else do you want to add to that too?
Yeah, I mean, personalisation is about really the shift between the physical and the virtual workspace. So if you look at, for example, home is not just a question of home, it's also become our school, it's become our gym, it's become our workplace, it's become a whole number of different things. And the question is how we adapt from a real estate and a facilities management perspective to be able to meet those changing needs of our clients.
Yeah, that's a big change, I think, that every company has to adapt to going forward. I think we've all got used to people working from home, and going forward, we'll all adopt that. And that'll become a common part of the business going forward. So I definitely agree with that as well, Pete.
It is about how we can make those services personal, but I think that still extending that technology piece is how can you make a service personal? That we've got solutions within our business now where our employees have got an app on their phone that if they want to come into the workspace and come into the desk, it's all shared workspace, there's no dedicated offices, which was a cultural shift, and people can pre-book a seat or a desk in the same way that you would book an airline seat or a train ticket seat, which is what we're used to, it's what we do, so why would you not do it within the office? And what you're able to find, we found situations where we're up to capacity and certain departments are asking for more space, and when you look at the data, you can demonstrate clearly, actually you don't need another 2 or 3 desks, you can actually work with what you've got currently, it's just how that workspace is actually managed.
Yeah, that'll be really important to us as a business, Inspire Integrated, because with our growth projections, as we're growing as a business, we really need to be smart in how we use the office, which I'm sure will be the case with lots of many companies.
Yeah, I think that, again, what these devices have done for us, they've allowed us to space manage our workspace more effectively. So in terms of being able to, from a desk allocation point of view, the HSE team have been able to manage and monitor who's sitting where at what particular space. So in terms of protection from a COVID perspective, that's been really useful information, which is something that we didn't ever expect 6 months ago we would be able to do.
Yeah, because I'm sure that'll be a challenge for many companies as they start to come back to the office more and more. They want to be smart on how they use the spaces. Pete, I'm also aware that you are chair for IWFM for the region. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a voluntary role that I love doing. It's a great opportunity to meet monthly with my peers, and our competitors, if I could put it that way, and engage with the FM community as a whole. And really it's where we get together, we share ideas, we should talk about best practice, how we can work on really trying to further professionalise facilities management, raising the standards. We have CPD events, we have webinars, and a good social gathering, generally when we can get together. So yeah, it's really interesting.
And IWFM, was that used to be BIFM?
Yeah.
How did that happen?
BIFM was the British Institute of Facilities Management, and they rebranded a couple of years ago under IWFM, which was the Institute for Workplace and Facilities Management. And I think the two big changes is really the internationalisation of IWFM, and then really bringing in workplace, which has become a more prevalent word, into the title. So it's bringing workplace into facilities management. So Steve, as Managing Director, tell me about how we're responding to these trends as Inspire Integrated.
Well, firstly, it was all about repositioning the company. So we were called Multiplex Services, and we've rebranded the company in July last year to Inspire Integrated. So to do that, we actually, a year prior to that, we did some analysis of the market. We looked at what the market requirements are. We looked at what our competitors were doing. And what became obvious to us was that really we had to look to become a purpose-driven company. So we looked at our old vision statement, which was all about the service that we offered, and we looked to rehash that and think, well, we really need to be focused on the end result rather than just the service we offered. So we engaged with the staff, and we got workshops together to really workshop and look at what is the company purpose and what are the company values to drive forward. And that was a great opportunity for us, because up to then, we had values put upon us. So we had our shareholder, Multiplex, our ultimate shareholder, Brookfield. We really had their values. But we had to recognise those, but we had to come up with our own values, something we truly believed in.
Can I just ask you, Steve, I think that values tend to be a poster that goes on the wall and nobody really understands. What are we doing as a business to bring those values to life and get people to live and breathe these values? What is it that we're doing with that?
Yeah, that's a good question. We again, that was very important to us. We didn't just want to come up with the values and not address it. So these values are values that, by the way, came out of the workshop. They weren't just things that the management dictated to the staff. It was more the staff have actually come up with these values. So the way to go forward with that is we've got this 6I initiatives program. And within that 6I initiatives, we've got individual programs per initiative, where we looked at each of the company values and we said, how can we roll that out within the business?
And are those initiatives aligned to the values? How do they work, and what are the programs? How do those work?
Yeah, there's some key programs with the 6I initiatives. What was fantastic was the uptake by all the staff. Once we identified those 6 initiatives, we went out to the staff and asked them who wanted to be involved in those workshops. And we got such a huge uptake. It was surprising. And so then each of those groups created workshops. So then it was truly something coming out of the staff, which was so empowering to see that coming through. So examples of some of those initiatives was the wellness initiative, was really looking at, particularly relevant to the pandemic, what we've been going through, is what we can do to, I guess, to ensure people have better mental health support. We looked at things like Wellness Week, like wellness education, employee assistant programs, and other initiatives. With the inclusiveness group, we looked at one thing we became very aware of is that we all come to work every day, but really don't know enough about the people we work with. So this initiative looked at how can we learn more about our work colleagues to enjoy work more, to connect more. So one of the programs was called Snapshot, and it was all about really getting to know your work colleagues, getting to get a little bit of a personal information on them so you know a bit more about them. And, you know, because our brain's a social organ and we all need to socialise. That's a big part of how we operate. So we don't just come to work, we really need to understand what our other colleagues do and interested in.
Which I guess comes back to this connection piece. We talk about connecting people and places, and this is connecting people and people, I guess.
Correct. It all comes back to that, right? And then another key program was places. A lot of our staff do great achievements individually out in the contracts. And we don't really tell everyone enough. And that was all about getting the great achievements out there and actually getting it and communicating it to all the rest of it.
There's been a lot of talk about the 6i initiative that's been titled under community. What's this all about, Steve?
Yeah, that's another really exciting initiative. That's when the first step we looked at, or the team looked at, was what's our cause? Because you really need to have a cause to address. And after analysis, we came up with education for everyone. So the main cause is we want everyone to have an opportunity for the right education. So with that, we've looked at what can we do, I guess, in other regions? What can we do to support other communities to provide that education? So we're analysing different organisations to see which one we're best in line with. Another part of our criteria is we don't just want to donate money, we want to get involved. We really want to have an input into that. So whatever cause we go with, we want to make sure our staff have an opportunity to travel, to actually go to get involved in that cause. So that's something we're really, I think the management, I believe all the staff will be very passionate about once we roll that out.
That's brilliant. It's giving me goosebumps. That's brilliant. Steve, you've mentioned a couple of times about us being a purposeful company or a purpose-driven company. What does that mean?
Yeah, so during that analysis we did before we repositioned the company, when we started to look at the market, just look at what, I guess, the big successful companies were doing out there in the market. And what was very obvious was the companies that had a defined purpose were the most successful. So it was then obvious for us that we needed to define our purpose. So we did that in the staff workshops. So it was something that came out of that group, and we came up with connecting people and places to inspire a better world. So what that does for you is that's all about the end result. So that frees you up to think about what services you need to offer for different clients to enable them to connect people and places. So that's freed us up to not only deliver facilities management, we're now delivering real estate management. We're introducing project delivery. We will introduce other services as we go. We're not just fixed on one individual service stream, because we're focused on the end result. And that will certainly move the company forward and support the company growth going forward.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
We talk about facilities management. We talk about real estate management. Just explain the difference between the two.
Yeah, so real estate management is probably, the older term is property management. So real estate management is really about managing the building, managing the leases, so all the rental leases, the service charge, all the charges that go back through to the tenant, and managing that tenant client communication.
It's all that transactional management stuff, is it?
It's not transactional management, it's very aligned with people and staff management interaction. Again, it's more aligned with our purpose. It's not very transaction based, it's more based on looking after the client's assets.
And that's an enhancement over and above what we normally do in terms of just general facilities management, I guess.
Yeah, it is. It's much more of an enhancement. It's quite often as a facilities manager, you're managed by the asset property manager. This is putting us up there at that same level, managing the property and facilities management. Peter, you've been very involved in repositioning the company. You've led a lot of the initiatives. And tell me, what sort of feedback you received both internally within Inspire Integrated and in the external market?
I think the opportunity for us to redefine and develop our own values and establish our own purpose has been invaluable. Everybody's been engaged with this in terms of how we've built and developed this. There's been really positive feedback from our colleagues, our employees. They're coming back and telling us that it's extremely engaging in terms of the brand and the way that we're working. They find it very interactive in terms of how they can engage with us as a business, which perhaps we haven't seen before. And we're being recognised externally in terms of brand awareness, because we was awarded the most promising brand of 2019 after less than 6 months of the new launch. So for us to have arrived with a purpose and be a purpose-driven organisation has been well received, well recognised, with high recognition from the external market.
And part of the challenge was when we did this, was moving away from a very known brand, Multiplex. And do you see that that's been quite positively received in the market?
It was always a concern. I remember you and me, Steve, having the conversation that we was always nervous about kind of losing the name of Multiplex because of the strong affiliation that we have with it. But it's been really well received, and I think that where we've repositioned our existing business and developed our new service pillars, it's made a significant difference in terms of how we're approaching the market and what and how we deliver services.
So Peter, one great initiative that you led was with the FM Expo. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I mean, we set up, one of the things that we wanted to do was really find a different way of connecting with our clients. So we set up the Theatre of Inspiration. And what this was about giving a platform and a voice for small entrepreneurial businesses that are engaged in facilities and property, and really giving them a platform and a stage to showcase their work. And what this led to was really the development of the Falcon's Den programme that we did, which really was a turning point for us, because what we saw was huge acceptance and recognition of the message that we were getting across in terms of how we're trying to change our business and also how we're trying to influence the industry.
Peter, another great initiative that you've led is our new digital workspace, Utopia. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that with the geographical stretch of business that we operate, a lot of our teams work remotely, and what we wanted to do was create an environment where people were able to come together, socially connect, and share ideas, celebrate together, and have a single point where people could come and socially interact with each other and share, as I say, ideas and initiatives, chat, socialise, perhaps in the same way that they used to using other social media means. Okay,
and what's the response? What's happening out there? Are you getting the right response from that?
Yeah, we've had significant levels of engagement from the guys. It does vary, and you know, some people are a little bit shy of this originally, but they're familiar with social media anyway as a medium, yeah, they've really, it's been well received.
Okay. So another thing, Peter, is going forward. Mm-hmm. Tell us about what Inspire Integrator's key differentiators are.
I think what I'd say, Steve, is that there's three key points in this, and I think the first one is that you've got to be true. You've got to be true to your values. You've got to understand as to what it is. You can't simply make this stuff up. It's important to, whatever are those differentiators, they're not differentiators just from our point of view, but they're differentiators from a client perspective. And I think that also we've got to be able to demonstrate our claim for what we're saying is different about us. And I think that for us is that we are a purposeful, driven company. We say what we mean, we live by our values, we live by what we believe. We've got a really strong belief and ecosystem within that we've now developed and incorporated. We look to work with clients that have specific problems where we can not necessarily just become a tactical service delivery organisation, but clients that have got specific problems that need help to try and fulfil. And really distinguishing ourselves by the client base that we've got, and also differentiating ourselves from perhaps our competitors within the market, and being consistent with the message that we portray.
Yeah, I agree. That's been one of the major, I guess, mind shifts for the company, is to be more of a purpose-driven company. So with that is we're really driven on the end result. And that allows us to provide whatever service we believe we need to provide for clients to support their needs, to be their trusted partners. So really that is our key focus going forward and our key differentiator.
Steve, I've really enjoyed our conversation today, and thank you. I've got to ask you before we finish, what are the key themes that you want us to take away from today's conversation?
Inspire Integrated is a purpose and value-driven organisation. So we will ensure that we make every decision going forward that is in line with those purpose and values. And that will give the best result to both our staff and to our clients. We need to keep focused on why we do what we do. We need to remain focused on the end user experience at all times. And we need to explore each and every opportunity to see where we can do better. We need to continue to build on long-term client business relationships and to become our client's trusted partner.
That's great. Thank you.
Thank you for watching this first session of Horizon. I plan to do many more sessions like this in the future. I want to thank Peter for his value contribution and for the interesting discussion we've had. We're going to look at different topics going forward, and I'd like to hopefully for you to join us in future sessions. I'd also really like feedback from you of what you liked and what you didn't like, what you'd like us to look at more going forward, because I really need that feedback to make sure I keep this content of interest. So please respond, provide that feedback on LinkedIn for us under our company account, and thank you for your time.